All right, so I saw this post from 366. Dan, I think, is the owner of 366, and he's an example of a New York Giant fan that I don't like because you're not thinking logically when you say dumb shit like this. My guy says that DJ stands are upset about this, but every Giants fan, I don't care if you like Daniel Jones or not, you knew that Barkley should have been signed before Daniel Jones. The problem is, this same guy posts an article saying that we should walk away from Barkley. So if you know that the Giants are prioritizing Barkley over Daniel Jones and they're trying to get a deal with Barkley prior to giving Jones a contract, then the problem isn't Daniel Jones. The problem is Joe Schoen, or the problem is Barkley. So you should be mad at Joe or Barkley because at the end of the day, if you give Barkley the contract, then the situation with Jones is completely different. So here's the thing with running backs. Nobody wants to pay running backs because even a running back that's drafted in the top 10, like a Barkley or Zeke or CMC, they don't lead teams to the Super Bowl. Like, drafting Barkley in the top 10 was a mistake in hindsight. Like, we all know that drafting Daniel Jones was a mistake to some, but it's not a mistake to the organization. They did that on purpose. It wasn't no accident. They didn't just randomly pick a quarterback. Like, they knew what they were doing when they drafted Daniel Jones number 6, and they don't care if you think he's a bust. They don't care. Obviously, they've got some other plan going on when it comes to Daniel Jones that we are not a part of. So we might not like Daniel Jones as a quarterback, but they've got their own plan. But drafting Barkley number 10 was not a good thing in hindsight, especially if you're not going to give him a number one receiver. Because I know we're thinking, okay, the quarterback also needs a number one receiver, but he could benefit from an actual number one too. We made Barkley the number one weapon on the Giants, and I feel like that was a mistake in hindsight. We should have drafted a wide receiver or tight end, somebody that was extremely talented to the point where the quarterback would have more options. You know, we get upset with Daniel Jones because Daniel Jones throws a lot of shorties, but a lot of his short passes are to Saquon Barkley. And so, yes, he could still throw some short passes to a number one, but a lot of these number ones are threats all over the field. And we could have easily had Garrett Wilson. A lot of people said dumb stuff like, oh, well, who's going to throw him the ball? Who's throwing Garrett Wilson the ball? Garrett Wilson has had two 1,000-yard seasons with a quarterback that's worse than Daniel Jones. And obviously, the other wide receivers that we have, they're not bad wide receivers, but they're not number one receivers. Like Wandell at 5'8", 175 is not a number one receiver. He's a wide receiver 3. 2 for us, but he should be a wide receiver 3. And Hyatt is still young, so I don't even know where Hyatt's going to go. It all depends on what we do with that line and if we draft the number one receiver, because everybody can benefit from having a number one receiver. It doesn't only benefit the quarterback. This whole idea that we don't pay Saquon Barkley, but we want him to be our number one weapon is malpractice for sure. You can't keep tagging Barkley instead of paying him. Let him move on to another team and be free. A lot of Giants fans aren't happy when you tell them, hey, we need to move on from Barkley because it's selfish. They feel like we should just tag him another year, force him to play under the tag, instead of letting him go on and go to another team that could use him. Like, you know, let him go play with the Bills. Like, I would hate to see him on the Cowboys or the Eagles, but I would love to see him elsewhere in another division. But I don't know. I think Giants fans, when it comes to this whole Barkley thing, we're stupid. I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, oh, they gave Daniel Jones a contract instead of Barkley. Yes, because Barkley wouldn't accept the money that we wanted to pay him. Be mad at Joe or be mad at Barkley. But don't blame the quarterback, guys. That's one thing you can't do. Because if you come and offer me that kind of money, I'm taking that money. He's not going to deny that contract, guys. He didn't pay himself. Be mad at Joe or be mad at Barkley.